Hello, my Sparkle sisters. How are you? Oh my gosh, you all are full of it today. So I have to read y'all some of these, and I want to thank Shelly Jones for helping me come up with these crazy questions every week. And I love that y'all are now sharing it with your friends. We're putting that out on Tuesday, and I know I got a little confused on the time, so you might be on here at a different time, but it is at 11 o'clock Central, noon Eastern. Okay, so every Wednesday. So I have to tell you, the question was, if you were forced to wear a warning label, what would it be? Chandra Savage says, runs with scissors. Some of y'all, I feel like this is like your Indian name too. Christina Stone Trimble says, dances on bars. I bet that's got some stories. Nancy Killian Todd says, not responsible for my facial expressions. Veronica Tenike, yeah, there we go. There's another one. Watch out. Belinda LaPointe says, watch out. She's a busy bee. My sister says, use common sense before turning on. That is so true. Rachel Shatney, bam. Yes, that would definitely be you. Shelly Jones, warning, I'm still hot. It just comes in. Oh my gosh, Marion Monroe says, don't touch my stuff. Susan Bell, again, you know what I think of as all the stories is use caution while on speakerphone. Judy Wim says, send chocolate now or ... Shannon, my niece, says, me meaner than she looks. Joyce Wagner says, about to explode. Susan Walker, oh my gosh, this is so funny. Does not play well with stupid people. You can type that in. That is really good. Christy Brown, approach with caution. And Chris Carter put, it was on another one of our, because I have this on so many platforms, but it was will explode into glitter. So I hope y'all are having fun with this, and y'all can do this with your people. And what I do know is that Sparkle Sisters do attract a different kind of girl. And so I just want to thank you all again for hanging out with us today. You know, last week we talked about energy and, you know, what we were attracting. And y'all also know that I'm going through this book, Visioneering, with my national girlfriends. And, you know, it's just so important that we figure out how we are wired. And so we're going to go through a lot of different things. And really for this season, I feel like this is what Sparkle is all about, is because we have every type of woman on here. And, you know, you might be an entrepreneur, you might be in Mary Kay, you might be in another direct sales company, you might be in a nonprofit, you might be a stay-at-home mom, you might be just a woman who just needs a good, positive community. So I do also want to thank all of you all that have been sharing this with your friends. We're getting closer and closer to the 7,000 mark. Wow, isn't that crazy? And so I am honored anytime you share that. So let's start today with success needs. And let me kind of explain the background on this and why, out of all of the different things that are out there. And I'm going to get some speakers on some other things. Again, we're just going to go through a bunch of these because I think that there's certain ones that you kind of connect with, but the more that you know about yourself and the more that you know about your family and your team, whether, you know, whatever that looks like, the more often you're going to go, wow, wonder why she does that, versus the old me would be like, why does she do that? And there might have been some dirty words in there. And so what we want to be able to do is do this. Now, my husband, who we've been together for 43 years, has never, ever read a positive book. Now, I have walked around and read him the 5 love languages. I've asked him to do these tests. We've done all of these things. Samantha and Dakota, they know all of these, but I think it's made them better people. So let's start out with success needs here. I want to give credit where credit is due. This is not my original concept, but it is my favorite. And the first time that I heard about it was with an executive trainer that we had, Sean Key. And he introduced it to me first. And it shifted me totally, because I thought because of my personality, I would feel successful in different ways. My girlfriend, Stacey James, and Lily Gotro also contributed a lot. And then just through the years, just all the times that I've trained and looked up. So this is a collaboration, okay? And so for y'all that are doing this, if you want to just snap a picture of this, go right ahead. And then basically what would happen is whenever you go across, like, confident, harmonious, independent, step-by-step, life of the party. You just kind of, this is most like you as a 5, least likely to drive you to your goals as a 1, okay? And when you get down here to your totals, it aligns like this: power and achievement, love and belonging, freedom and choice, safety and security, fun and pleasure. Okay, so let me jump back here. So if you have the most here, it is power and achievement, love and belonging, freedom and choice, safety and security, and fun and pleasure. Okay, so this is just a fun little test. Let me tell you what a success need is and what it is not. Okay, so a success need is not your DISC, right? Dominant, influential, steady, compliant. A lot of businesses teach that. It is not that. And that's where I really had it confused, is I thought, because I'm an alpha female, obviously, and I'm dominant, that I would draw my greatest sense of success in being at the top of the scoreboard or a paycheck. But that does not do it for me at all. And so what a success needs is when you feel the most fulfilled. In other words, you wake up in the morning and you feel like, I can do this for the rest of my life. So in my business, or if I'm volunteering at church, or if I'm doing other coaching or doing any of the other things like that, or in my marriage, being a mom, being a grandma, being a friend, if I don't feel like that people are seen and valued and feel important and growing, I don't care what the rest of it looks like. I am unfulfilled, and I'm a little spicy, little prickly whenever that happens. So if I'm working in my business and I don't have a lot of people moving up, I have to do a lot of self-coaching to keep my happy where it needs to be, to keep my vision where it's at. Normally that's whenever you see, and we have a lot going on right now, but my desire is so much more, but what I want and where I'm at, there is a gap. And I know that whenever that happens, that the way that I do that is that I create small groups where I can make an impact right then, while I wait for my business to catch up. So just through the years, I've just learned how to coach myself through that, because it has nothing to do with the money. It has nothing to do with the position. It has nothing to do with those kinds of things. Okay. So again, a success need, and maybe, just like at first glance, if we look at this, just like at first glance, if you want to type this in, and I know we put this out on YouTube and most people watch it on YouTube, but you can just kind of, put this on there. But like when you first think about this, which one of these do you think you might be just by the title? Power and achievement, love and belonging, freedom and choice, safety and security, fun and pleasure. Again, just kind of thinking through this, which one do you think that you might be? Okay, we're going to start out. Also, the other thing that I want you to know about this is that it doesn't change, and it's not shaped by your upbringing or your situation. Okay, so the first one that we're going to talk about is power and achievement and the need to conquer. There is a need to conquer. That's really what we're looking at. This need to conquer, they can either be people or the process. Their strengths, they're driven by challenges, the sense of achievement. They're driven by competing. They must be number one. They want individual accolades. When their needs are met, there's great inner peace, there's contentment, there's confidence that comes with that. And what they collect, right, if your power and achievement, what they collect are wins. Okay, so that may sound familiar to y'all a little bit. And then what we have is when you're looking at someone whose main success need is power and achievement, that they are energized by the win. They're energized by a highly competitive spirit. They do want the spotlight, but not necessarily for the glory, but for the sense of achievement. In other words, they don't need the microphone. They don't, in a lot of cases, they don't even really want the attention, but they also don't want to be sitting in the audience. The other thing that power and achievement people need, I was trying to do this on some notes here, relationships that challenge her. They take the lead without thinking. Those are the ones that I love to work with. Completion of goals, being in charge, ask questions like what's next. They're very future oriented. So again, that's going to kind of describe the power and achievement. Now, the next thing with power and achievement, and this is a really, really, really big deal. And I see this happening all the time with, again, just being in our business for almost 40 years, being a volunteer at church. What I find with power and achievement people, if they don't have a finish line to cross, they're going to go find a finish line. You're going to hear me say that over and over again. If they don't have the opportunity to win, they're going somewhere else. If they're only being part of the crowd, they're going somewhere else. If they don't have a leader that is striving for more, guess what? They're going somewhere else. Right here, they're going somewhere else. They can lose sight of their purpose. They can be very insensitive. So my power and achievement people, if they're not winning, they're prickly and they don't want to be, and they don't mean to be, but people don't understand them. They have two speeds on off. They are all in or they're off, or they're all in. And if they're not winning here, they're going to do something else. They're always, I'm going to go over here and win. I'm going to go over here and win. I'm going to go over here and win. The problem with that is that they're never good at anything. They only ever get to a point where it's uncomfortable and they don't break through and they go on to do something else. Okay. I've seen that for years and years. And so this may describe you. And if it does, you might start to see patterns that maybe serve you well and patterns that don't serve you well. I'm going to give you a great example of this. Our number one director, Crystal Gardner, is she's an introvert, was a domestic violence counselor. Not anybody that you would think when you first meet her that she would be power and achievement. And this was long before we knew about this. I am what's called love and belonging. So like I told you, my success need is I want everybody to feel a part. I want everybody to feel valued. I want everybody to feel seen. I love to watch personal growth. That was really how I thought everybody was wired. And back in the day, a long, long time ago, Crystal was the last director in our lineage. And I can remember exactly where I was standing. And I remember her saying, I was not born to be at the bottom. And my answer to her was, oh, but Crystal, look how far you've grown. Look at what you've done. And we go through all this, and she's just bawling and bawling and bawling. And I'm like, why do you have to be number one? Look, you can grow. And like, I didn't realize that my need for her to feel important was just as important to her to be at the top. And it's not an ego thing. It's not that. Hers is an impact, but her impact is that she wants to be the evidence to show people that it can happen, right? So that's the beautiful thing about success needs is sometimes you're working with people or you've got people in your family that they're just driven and you're like, wow, what an ego. It has nothing to do with ego. Or, wow, I wonder why she needs that. Well, you know what? She can't describe it any more than you can describe it. It's just part of your DNA. And if you are wired like this, we talked about where are a lot of power and achievement people. CrossFit people are power and achievement. Those that run marathons, Girl Scouts, a lot of times top Girl Scouts, beauty pageants, places where people want to win, where there is a throne, a crown, a sash, a finish line. They do really well with that. That's really where you find your power and achievement. Now, here's the thing, y'all, if in your past, at a time that you felt the most powerful was when you were winning like that, you got to find something like that again. That's just going to be very, very important. The other thing to think about for power and achievement is to figure out, does your power and achievement, are you a team achiever or are you a singular power and achievement? So some people love to cross with a team, maybe like a flag football team or a soccer team or something like that, where others want to cross the finish line. In other words, they want to control it all themselves. They don't want all the drama. It comes with a team, right? They just want to be able to do it on their own. Again, not better, not worse, not good, not bad, just the way you're wired. And the more that you can understand how you're wired, the quicker you can get through the wait time, the desert time. You know, we talk about there's nothing more tragic than a woman with a God ordained calling with a very small character. And you can't grow your character until you know what you're made of. Okay. So, again, if you're also a coach and you're running a team or a volunteer team, or part of your nonprofit, and people are going out as fast as they're coming in, I would suggest that you teach this to them. So that this is something that's really fun. It's also because I'm going to spread it out. It'll be a little bit harder. It's really good, just like in an afternoon workshop. So that's kind of where we're at there. So the other thing with Power and Achievement are some solutions. I've been talking about that, finding ways to keep her challenged and accomplished. Now, you can't find little bitty whiny goals. They've got to be significant. And your job as a leader, coach, mentor is to collaborate with her to find ways to win where she is at. Okay. Use trigger words whenever you're speaking to her. Again, here's some trigger words right here: successful, accomplished, best, record breaker, powerful, history making, greatest of all times, abundance, maximum, maximizers, leaders, number one, game changers, elite, champion, resilient, beast, right? Beast mode. So those are some words that you'll want to just have, maybe put it in notes. So when you're talking to people, when you're writing notes to them, that you will use these kinds of trigger words. Ask questions. They do not want to be told what to do. They've got to figure out what they're doing. And again, recognize them for excellent work, not mediocre. If that's very offensive. Okay. So the daily question to ask that a Power and Achievement is, what finish line can I cross today? Okay. So that's what they're doing. Some coaching questions. Again, I built this, kind of more for my Mary Kay leaders. And then I do a little bit, like whenever I'm coaching, offices and different things like that. But some of this, the languaging might be a little bit different, but you can take this and make it your own. What record could you break this month? What are you adding to your accolades this month? What actions are you going to take to achieve this? What could your team be the first at completing? Could you have the most? Could you have the, whatever it is, finding, again, especially for those who want to win with a team, make sure your questions are, how can her team achieve? Let's go over your winner story for your next event. How's that going to feel? What's a winner story, right? So every day we get up and we choose to live in our whiner story or a winner story. They take the same amount of time to create. Y'all know me, every time pretty much I teach, I talk about this. The whiner stories are all of your excuses of why it can't happen. I love, one of my favorite shows is F1. I need to put that in here because I just love it. We binge watch it and I love it. And what I love about it is McLaren last year in 2023 was the slowest team, the very slowest team. And this year they were number one, right? They won the constructors award, and they lived in their winner story. Like they knew what it would take. They kept visualizing that. Those drivers just kept visualizing Max Verstappen. I mean, he just a winner. Like he just knows he's going to win. You can feel it. He's not, if they interview him, he's not complaining. He's like, one of the guys asked him, what's that going to be like? He's like, look, I've been driving for 10 years. I've been world champion for 3 years. Now, now it's 4, like they're just the confidence because he's chosen doesn't mean that. And this year was way worse than last year, but he's not living in the whiner. He's not living in what he can't control. He's not making excuses. And many of us, whenever we start working on a goal, and I was talking about this again for Power and Achievement set a goal. And whenever it's really hard and they got to dig in, right? You got to dig in, you got to figure it out. You've got to work, you got to get creative with your wins before you pivot to something else. You're never going to cross the finish line. What happens is I know this sounds crazy, but really you're living in your whiner story because you've given yourself a reason to give up over here. And so I want you all to think about, what would your winner story, if you were guaranteed to succeed and you had plenty of time and money, what would your business, your nonprofit, your home, whatever that is, what would that look like? In our world, what would the seminar stage look like? What is it going to sound like? And what all did you have to overcome? And not just in your business, what would your health look like? What would your wealth look like? What would your relationships look like? Like, you've got to create it first, right, in your head. Then your heart, you're going to find a way to bless people. You're going to draw it to you. But where most people operate, especially in the world of wine that we live in right now, whining all the time. Oh my gosh, drives me crazy. I do think it's getting better. Or maybe I just quit following all those people. I think it could be that. But it is, oh, I couldn't do it because I got lint in my belly button, and I couldn't do it because I had a bad hair day, and I couldn't do it because I had a cold, and I couldn't do it because my house wasn't big enough, and I couldn't do it because y'all know what I'm talking about? Where winners are like, okay, every person in my family is sick, and I lost a foot, and I lost my voice, but I still do it anyway. See, it's not your circumstances that determine whether you cross the finish line, Sparkle Sisters. It is the story that you tell yourself, because what you tell yourself, you bring to pass. And so you just got to work until the last minute. Most of our best stories in Mary Kay came from somebody not giving up on a goal and asking one more person. And that one more person said, all right, I'll cross the finish line with you. And then it was that person that goes on and to do great things. You wonder how many dreams that are attached to yours, but you're not going to see that until you get to the finish line. And the other thing is that in a lot of cases, God is not going to trust you with those people until you've learned what you need to learn here to be able to take them there. Now, for y'all also, where's my learners, right? I love to learn. I'm always learning something else. I'm trying to learn Spanish, and I'm trying to learn social media, and I'm trying to learn all that. I'm not talking about not learning things. I think that is admirable. What I'm talking about is chasing after a calling. That part of this is writing out your winner story. And I believe that is very, very important for our power and achievement. So I hope today helped. We're going to do the next one. Next week, it's going to take us about 5 weeks. Invite your girlfriends. Share this wherever you want to. We will put it up on YouTube. Remember that together we are too blessed to be stressed, too anointed to be disappointed, too equipped to be whipped. Have a miracle-filled week. See y'all next week at 11 o'clock Central, noon Eastern, no matter what I type. Okay, bye-bye, y'all.